Hey everyone, hope you're having a good spring break. I've been working on getting the course set up for you guys for the rest of the semester now that President Winterstein has announced we'll be online for the rest of the semester. So I've made a lot of changes to the Canvas course and the course in general. You might have been getting email notifications about that. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through everything. There's a lot of things that have changed. A couple of things I've taken out, a couple of things I've put in just to try to maintain um, as much continuity in the course as possible and also achieve the goals of the course. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what's changing and what's staying the same so you can have an idea of what you'll be expected to do from here on out. So I'm in student view on Canvas. So you can I'm showing you what you'll see. Here I've got 120 online update version 3, which I've got here on my computer as well. I'm not going to read through all of this, but I will hit on some main points. So first off, for lectures, it's been recommended by the university and by the English department that we do as much of the course asynchronous as possible. That means not real time, not face to face. So I'm going to try to do as much of that as possible, and I won't ever require something that is synchronous. Everything that's in real time will always be optional. Otherwise, everything required is asynchronous. So that includes the lectures. They will be asynchronous. I will record them just like I'm recording this right now, and I will upload them probably on YouTube, I imagine. I think I might get faster upload time there, and then I'll link it to Canvas. However, you guys will have access to the lectures on a PowerPoint presentation, just as if I were doing it in class, except there wouldn't be any interaction. It'd just be purely me lecturing at you. So you'll listen to the lectures on Canvas, and I'll show you where those will be. Down here, I've got a new module called Lectures and Comprehension Questions. So I will post, so like for chapter 5, I think, document classification, which will be starting on Monday. By Monday, I'll record the lecture for document classification for you, and I'll put the link of it right here, and then I'll have some comprehension questions for you. I'm very much against having anything that is um, busy work, I think is the term. I don't want you guys to have to do busy work, but I do want to make sure that you pay attention to the lectures and get what you need to get out of them. Mainly so that you're prepared for the assignment and the assessments later on, that you learn what you need to. So I'll have some comprehension questions that you will submit right here. So you'll watch the lecture, there'll be a link there. You'll click Submit Assignment, and then you will just put in your answers in plain text right here. So for example, if I had a set of 5 comprehension questions at the end of Monday's PowerPoint, whatever it is, Monday the 23rd maybe, then you'll just put your 5 answers right here. Pretty simple. So you'll have the lectures like that you'll need to answer some comprehension questions for, and those will serve as your kind of attendance for the day. So those are required, and you can do those kind of on your at your convenience. I think so it says deadlines for comprehension questions are posted in the updated schedule below. So down at the end of this document that you'll have, there's an updated schedule. And it's just for the rest of the semester, so you'll have like your normal reading guides. Those are still there. There's absolutely nothing that's changed with those. Just make sure you have those done by 3:10 on March 23rd. So nothing is changing with deadlines or with the time. Everything will always be due at 3:10, always. Going back and forth between 3:10 and midnight just gets confusing, so everything is always at 3:10. So you'll have your normal reading guide, you'll watch the lecture on document classification, and then you'll answer your comprehension questions over that lecture and post them on Canvas like I just showed you. And then those will be due like usually a week later. So it gives you the full calendar week to watch the lecture, answer the comprehension questions, and do all that. So you'll have all that, that's all required. And then optionally, if you have any questions about the lecture, you don't have to. If you have any questions about the lecture, you can go to discussions. I think you probably got email notifications about all of these, and I'm sorry for that. But then you can go to Q&A for document classification lecture. You do not have to do this, but if you have questions for me, something was confusing, something didn't make sense, you're curious about something else, you can go into here, I hope. And then you can post any questions that you have. And so this is basically a replacement for being able to ask me random questions in class. So this is not the comprehension question answers that you're posting that are required. This is extra questions you might have. And it'll just reply here. And then I will answer those. It will not be anonymous. Those are questions and answers for the whole group to see. So feel free to post anything there if you want to. There will be a discussion thread like that for each of the 4 remaining lectures. Okay, so I think that takes care of the lectures. Going back to the top here. So that takes care of lectures. WebEx meetings we'll get to in a moment. No, let's talk about those now. So assignment 4, the regex assignment, I know that a lot of you were maybe not excited, but looking forward to the work day for regular expressions, one last work day. So I wanted to maintain that last regex work day for you all, but that would need to be something kind of synchronous, in real time. And so that's something that I cannot, or at least do not want to require in case any of you don't have access to good internet, or like good laptop, things like that. So this will be optional. I'll preface with, if you don't have access to good internet, anything like that, you can still send me questions via email. I'm happy to answer them via email. But otherwise, I'll have this optional WebEx workday for you on March 30th. This is for assignment 4. And this will be on, like I said, WebEx. So this is a website. You can go to iostate.webex.com. Iowa State's got their own subdomain of WebEx. You can download the app. I do highly suggest that you go ahead and download the app. If you go to my personal page for WebEx /btdingle, then it'll automatically download a very small installer package to your computer. I've done that. A lot of people do that. I recommend it. But otherwise, you can also just wait for join from your browser to show up, and then you can join on the browser side. So this will be on the indicated days, so back down to the bottom of the document. For the regex workday, it'll be March 30th, so here in like a week and a half or so. You will go on there at 3:10 p.m. normal class time, and we will hold kind of a face-to-face meeting synchronously there, again, optional. You'll need to log in with your ISU email address, and then make sure you allow your audio and your video, and then having the good internet connection, all that stuff. I'll show you briefly, maybe. I'll try to show you briefly what this all looks like on your end. So I will start a meeting. I just opened the Cisco WebEx Meetings app. You will want to go to, let's see if I can do this here. If I type in btdingle, no. So iostate, there we go. So iostate.webex.com/meet/btdingle. If you go here, it'll take you other places, and you'll click Open Cisco WebEx Start. So that'll open up this app for you, and it should bring you to the meeting with me, and so you should all of a sudden see my face pop up. So we'll do that at 3:10 on the days that are indicated. Close out of Cisco WebEx. I think this will work. We tried this out in class on our last class day, and things seem to go okay. It might take a few minutes to get set up, but that's all right. So for the regex workday, we'll do it via WebEx. Let's see, WebEx. So final project, let's go to the calendar. So for each kind of major lecture, you'll have your normal readings and reading guide. You'll watch your lecture, do your comprehension questions, turn those in by the due date, and then, so that'll be for the lectures. For assignment 6, which goes along with dialogue systems, the dialogue systems lecture, I said earlier in the semester you guys will create your own chatbots. That's assignment 6. And I'm imagining that there'll be a lot of questions and a lot of kind of a need for me to help people walk people through it. So I've set aside quite a few days, looks like 4 days, for optional assignment 6 work days via WebEx, just like the assignment 4 work day. So you can meet with me on WebEx at 3:10 p.m. on these days to get help on assignment 6. When I do the dialogue systems lecture, I'll give a walkthrough on what assignment 6 is, how you're expected to do this. I've got a template for you in JavaScript, so it should be pretty okay. You shouldn't struggle with it too much. But if you are struggling, then you're more than welcome to come to these work days and or contact me via email. And you'll have plenty of time to do that assignment until April 20th. So there's several weeks to do that. And then that you will, let's see, let me go back to home. You'll turn that in on Canvas like your other assignments. Assignment 4 was obviously weird because it was all regex and on my website, but the rest of them are normal. So assignment 5, there will be an assignment there. You actually already have access to it. It's like 2 questions, nothing crazy. And then assignment 6 is where you'll upload your chatbot. So we will be able to meet with each other on WebEx to do that if you want to. Good. What else? So final projects. This is something that I had to change fairly drastically to fit with the asynchronous style of teaching. So final project presentations. The plan was to make physical posters and display your posters in ROS 212, and then we'd all gather around and ask questions. Now we can't do that with it being online, so rather I've decided to have you guys do a PowerPoint presentation on PowerPoint, or if you're in a group, you'll want to do Google Slides, probably something like this. And then you and your group members will get on a Skype or WebEx, whatever meeting, and you will record yourselves presenting. And so this will be you and your group member going slide by slide through your presentation, presenting as if in person. And then you'll upload that presentation to Cybox. I've got a link here. You'll put your the recording of yourselves presenting the PowerPoint. Not just the PowerPoint itself, but your video of yourselves presenting it. You'll put it in this shared folder, LING 120 Final Project Presentations. And then the rest of the class will be able to view this. And then I don't want just you to make a presentation and nobody watch it. I want everyone to watch some presentations. So on Canvas, again, this is main page of Canvas here under modules. I think down all the way at the bottom, final project. So in here, you've got your final project description right here, so you can read through that. You will just create a PowerPoint, present it, upload the video, and then you will create a discussion forum thread for your presentation. So going back into discussions. So you've made your video of yourselves presenting the PowerPoint, and then you'll go in here, and under discussions, you'll make a final project presentation discussion thread. So I've made an example in here. You'll create your own. You should just put your group members' names, your project title, maybe also link to, just those 2 things. And then other people, like if I had just watched your final project presentation from here in Cybox, I could then reply, and I would need to reply with a few questions, maybe 2, 3, 4 questions. And so I just number them, put them all here, right? If I was watching your presentation, and then you would come back and you'd need to reply to my questions. You'd need to answer them. So this one is mine, obviously, and so other people will post their questions, and I'll answer those, right, as a student. So kind of a Q&A format asynchronously for final project presentations. And that's all also described in the, where's it at? In the final project description, way down here under final project, the description page in there. I've also got it here. Is there anything I missed with this? You can do it with individually or with one partner, up to you. You'll get 1 joint grade for that. While I'm on the topic, I might as well talk about final projects. So this will be on anything related to the course, but just more in-depth on it. So you can, if you want to talk about something from chapter 1 or anything you want, and explore that concept more in depth. This can be either something going in more in depth on a particular topic, like I had some students last semester do a project on the history of microphones and how microphones have evolved over the decades and how that's affected kind of how computers and language intersect. And so they just took that topic that we had discussed in class and went further with it. Other people found a topic that they wanted to make a real life application of. For example, I had one group write some regular expressions that they use to find the most frequent words in English with a particular target sound for speech language pathology patients. And so then they had this real life application of regular expressions. So you can do either take a concept, go more in depth, or you can take a concept and make a real life application out of it. If you're a programmer, then you can do something with programming. I think one group had mentioned building some sort of a website and doing NLP with the data set they found and then posting the results on the website they create. That would be totally perfect for this kind of a project. I highly recommend, possibly even require you to obtain approval of your final project idea by April 10th at midnight. I guess this should be at 3:10, but whatever. This just needs to be like a short paragraph, literally one paragraph description of like, here's what we're thinking about. That way I can tell you whether or not it's a good idea in the right scope for a 100 level course. I might give you further ideas or limit it some depending. So go ahead and send me a project proposal, just your idea, to me by April 10th so that I can make sure you're kind of on track for that. Let's see what else. Yes, watch 3 or more of your classmates' presentations and post 2 or more questions for each of those on the discussion forums. And then you'll need to also reply when other people ask you questions about your presentation. And there's a rubric here if you want to look at the rubric. So that is final projects. Final exams. This is also quite a bit different. Unlike the midterms where we had them one-on-one, I've decided to make it all on Canvas. Where's it at? Down here at the bottom, I think. Yes, so you get your final exam description right here. It's just like your midterm description, kind of, I guess, slightly different. Wait for it to load. It might not load. Okay, here it is. So there will be 2 parts, just like the midterm. One conceptual question, exactly from the bank below, then also one regular expressions task. So these are the conceptual questions you'll have. You have these ahead of time. They'll appear exactly like this. And then the practical tasks will be one regular expression task. I don't provide you with the exact tasks ahead of time because you'd be able to obviously solve it, and it doesn't show whether or not you can write regex under a time constraint and without other people's help. So, but I do give you an example task here. You can read through that on your own. Yeah, so you can read through that. That's an example task, something very, very similar to this. You just write a set of 1 or more regular expressions to fulfill a certain task. And I highly do recommend using regex 101 or the sandbox on my course website, things like that. There's a rubric. And then how you'll do this is on Canvas. I'll show you here in just a second. You'll be randomly assigned one of each task type, and then you'll have 1 hour to complete the exam. And I've set the dates for this to be starting April 20th, going all the way through the end of finals week. So I can actually show that here on the calendar. So you've got literally 3 weeks you can take this final exam. I started as soon as April 20th because we will have finished all the major course content by then. There'll still be more stuff that we'll cover, but everything on the final exam will have been covered. So you can take the exam on April 20th if you want to. So under, let's see, down at the bottom, final exam right here. You'll go here. It says it's locked until April 20th midnight, but you'll click start and it'll give you 60 minutes to get your conceptual question and your regex question and type in your answers. Again, you can use any resources you like for this, just like in the midterm exam. Literally, like when you went out to the hallway, you can use any resources you like. Same thing applies here. You have 60 minutes rather than telling me the answers face to face. Unfortunately, I'll have to have you write down your answers. So if you say get the question about machine translation, you'll basically type everything that you know about machine translation in a nice format, kind of essay-like format here, and then you'll solve your regex task using regex 101 or the sandbox, things like that, and you'll go from there. So that's the final exam. Let's see, what else? So yeah, if you finish the final exam in the 2 weeks before finals week, then and you've already answered your questions with the final project presentations, all that, then you could be done. You could not even have to do anything for 120 during finals week. Let's see, what else? What else have I think this is wrong. I think I need to move this date, but that's fine. I think it'll actually be on the 20th. Okay, I think, so stay informed, you know, keep up to date with everything with the COVID situation, technical difficulties. You can email me with certain things, but realistically, you probably want to talk to ITS at this email address if you have any problems with your computers, things like that. Office hours, I won't do office hour time slots through my course website anymore. Rather, I will do them via email. So go ahead and email me if you want to book an appointment with me. We can talk on WebEx, or I can just answer questions via email, either way. Attendance, that's all through your participation on things on Canvas, like those comprehension questions over a lecture, things like that. All the real-time WebEx meetings, those are optional, so those will not be counted with attendance. Let's see, what else? And I think that's everything. Note that the schedule that I posted here, this updated schedule, it supersedes this syllabus calendar that I have here. I will always post the PowerPoints as usual here. The PowerPoints will also be in the lectures that I post on YouTube or whatever. But you'll also have access to the actual PowerPoint itself here as usual. I'll post those as time goes. Reading guides as normal. Assignments you already have access to. There's no assignment 7, so don't worry about that not being there. JavaScript Bootcamp, I still need to enable the 100% one. You'll keep on going with that. And I think why you've been going through JavaScript Bootcamp will make a little bit more sense once you get assignment 6. So in a few weeks, I think you'll be able to do assignment 6 more easily than the students last semester because you've been doing JavaScript Bootcamp on FreeCodeCamp. And then I think one other thing, possibly in discussions. No, that is all. Okay, so I think I've gone through everything. I will put this probably on, I think this will be on YouTube, and I'll post it for you to see. And then if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Go to Blackbox as usual. Oh, weird, it asked me to sign in. But you know Blackbox. Blackbox email, ask me for a WebEx meeting, things like that. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you all in my lecture on Monday for document classification. Have a good rest of your spring break.